Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, July 7th, 2023. Fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here. The main impact are the hot, dry, windy conditions in place over southern and southeast Utah. Really today through the weekend, some of the winds move a little bit further north by Sunday. And then we also have some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms expected across the north for the next few days as well. The main area of concern for today is going to be over northern Nevada, and then those showers and thunderstorms fill in across the north on Saturday, decreasing by Sunday. The past 24 hours of precipitation and lightning are shown here. We still just had this little band of moisture that developed some thunderstorms yesterday afternoon across northern Nevada there, and then also here in east central Idaho, and then the Uinta Basin, a few thunderstorms there. Recent fire activity is shown here. Our fires are still remaining pretty small. We did have a larger fire around 80 acres there on the Arizona Strip, but elsewhere the fires are remaining quite small for the time being. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here. We have definitely dried out over the past week. Just very isolated thunderstorm activity here and there in mainly northeast Nevada and northern Utah. The severe fire danger index values are shown here, and for most of the Great Basin we're looking at moderate to high values with a little bit lower values further north. It's really just the areas across far southern Nevada, southern and southeast Utah that are in that very high category due to the very dry air mass and the increased winds for today. Taking a closer look at the ERCs here across southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, those values are right about normal for the time of year and on an upward swing. Normally this time of year the monsoons will have moved in and we would expect to see ERCs decreasing, but that's not the case this year, so we'll expect to see those values continue to rise over the coming weeks. Same is true for northeast Nevada here. The values have been on a pretty significant increase over the past couple of weeks, and that will continue. This morning's satellite imagery is showing generally zonal westerly flow in place across the Great Basin, and we can see those clouds here in northern Nevada and northern Utah, right where that little band of moisture is, that will kick off some thunderstorms later today. So for this afternoon, again, expecting those thunderstorms northern Nevada, northern Utah, possibly a few over eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, and then very dry across the southern Great Basin. And we'll expect to see those winds pick up across southern Utah. We do have high risk triggers issued for that wind event for today. A closer look at the winds here in northern Nevada. These are outflow winds from the thunderstorms that may develop or that will develop there. And then over southern Utah, more widespread gusty conditions. Precip here on the right shows where we're expecting those thunderstorms to pop up this afternoon, mainly over northern Nevada and possibly over far northeast Utah and maybe a stray thunderstorm here or there in eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. On Saturday, we'll begin to see the high pressure building or expanding a little bit into the Great Basin for warming conditions through the weekend, but we will continue to see some gusty conditions across the southern Great Basin, southern Utah in particular, and then some moisture in place over Idaho, western Wyoming for some shower and thunderstorm development there. Closer look here, still showing those gusty winds across southern Utah and far southern Nevada, and then the isolated thunderstorms developing once again, this time a little bit further north over Idaho, western Wyoming, and right along that Utah or the Idaho-Nevada border. On Sunday, the ridge continues to creep a little bit further northward for warming temperatures area-wide, and then the gusty winds still remaining in place over the southern portions of the Great Basin. So again, broken record with these winds. Day 3, dry, gusty winds in place over the southern half of the basin there, and very warm on Sunday. So back to near 100 degrees in some of our northern valleys. Boise is going to be very hot on Sunday, Salt Lake as well. That'll continue into the first part of next week. 3-day precip totals are very light, really just reflecting some of those isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms in place over northern Nevada, northern Utah, and then portions of eastern Idaho, western Wyoming. As we head into the first part of next week, temperatures continue to be very hot, especially on Monday. Some lingering gusty winds across the southern Great Basin. But our thunderstorm coverage will decrease as we head into the first of next week. Hot and dry on Tuesday. You can see that ridge continuing to move a little bit further northward. More of the same on Wednesday. Temperatures may come down back off 100 just a bit, but still pretty warm, very dry across the basin. And that continues into Thursday with generally westerly flow as the ridge remains to our south and east. 7-day totals don't change from the 3-day totals. After this weekend, really things dry out quite a bit across the area. Then the extended forecast, July 14th through the 20th, keeps very warm temperatures in place over Texas and the south central U.S. That'll expand up into the Great Basin, and a big bullseye for below normal precipitation over the Great Basin as we head into the third week of July. The monsoons are not in sight. Some of the models are starting to show us hints of some monsoonal moisture for the second half of July, but nothing that we want to put in with any confidence at this time. But certainly dry through the third week of July. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.